Hey guys, how's it going? Today we've got quite a lot going on. We're going to be putting together a spring arrangement in the greenhouse, and I just went down to the garden center and picked out a beautiful pot and a few new plants for it. We are going to be pruning our Julia Child tree roses that are on the west side of the Hartley, and then we are going to be planting 2 more of the Julia Child tree roses on the east side of the Hartley because I would like that to be a repeat because they are so pretty. And then when we are done with that, we are going to take a look at some huge trees that we are having installed today. And you guys might remember, I feel like we're just picking up right where we left off last fall, but we were able to get in on a really good deal. It was a really good opportunity. So Nathan Millad, who we have bought all of these big trees from that we've had installed, he got a call from somebody in a nearby town who a guy had started a tree farm several years ago. It was his passion project, and then he ended up getting cancer and he passed away, and nobody really wanted to take care of it because it wasn't their passion project. And the family decided they wanted to they're farmers, and they wanted to farm the area where all these great big trees were. So this field laid neglected for several years. And they just told Nathan, like, we'll give you a super great deal if you want to come in and move out anything that you want out of this field. So then he called us and said, hey, got this opportunity. If you want to come take a look, we can move some of them to your place. And they gave him, I think in the beginning, they gave him like a March 1st deadline, but we've had such a really wet and crummy January and February that they extended it a little bit. So we were able to kind of get in on the very end and save some of these trees because they're going to destroy anything that's not moved in that field. So it just was kind of a win all the way around. Anyway, so we got 3 more trees and I'm excited about it, and I'll show them to you when they're all done. But first things first, we are going to gather up all of our stuff for this spring arrangement, and we are going to head to the greenhouse. It is fresh and blustery out here this morning. We're expecting a low of 28 tonight. I didn't think we were supposed to freeze for the next 10 days. But look at this stuff. Isn't this so pretty? I just went down to the garden center and they've got this color in a lot of different styles, and I just think it's a really versatile color, and I love this light green. You can see the hellebore peeking out. And then I got some violas, pincushion flowers, some iberis, pansies, daffodils, and there's a heather right there. And this arrangement is going to be donated to the school that Bethany's kids go to. They're doing a big fundraising event tomorrow night, and we donated to this last year. They do a live auction, and I think the container last year did real well. So I'm excited to donate again, and hopefully it gets the same amount of attention, I guess. I need a gator, I think. I cannot lift that pot all the way to the greenhouse. It's kind of thick, it's heavy. Let's see, right here. Okay, I think I've gathered up pretty much everything we need, except for a few branches. I think I would like to put a bundle of pussy willow branches in the center just to give it some drama, some height. There's not a lot right now in terms of height available down at the garden centers unless you're going with an evergreen, and I didn't want to do that because that would take up too much of the container, and I want there to be more color. It's going to be fairly similar to the one we put together earlier, except for more height. So let's head out and grab some branches before we get started. Feels really good in here though. Yeah, currently 63 in here, which doesn't sound overly warm, but when it's like 40 outside, it feels pretty dang good. Use these. Oh, they're gorgeous. Now we're ready. We're going in with our soil first. This is a hellebore called Merlin. So beautiful, kind of a dark burgundy color, and the newer flowers have a lot of cream on them. Beautiful. think I'm going to go in with our branches next. I am designing this one to where it looks good from all angles because I am not sure where, you know, the person who ends up with this container, I don't know where they're going to put it. You know, it could be that they would back it up against a wall, in which case you could move your centerpiece back and then design in front of it, kind of like I did with our other one over here. But since I don't know, I'm just going to make it look good from all sides. I think it's looking really pretty so far. I don't know if I want to use bright yellow in it. Maybe. Oh, those are pretty little mascari. Oh my gosh, it is so cute, and it just screams spring with the daffodils and the violas, the great hyacinths, pussy willow branches, and it all looks so pretty with this color of green. All very just kind of soft. Here is a closer look. Oh, I just love all of these plants together. It looks so fresh, and just this color of container. Like, I don't normally do glazed pottery around in our garden, but I think this is so pretty, and it's just very cool, and it's a very peaceful color, I think. I don't know. And I like the texture. I think that's a really pretty added benefit right there. Hey, Russell. So hellebore first as our centerpiece, and I love that we were able to weave these pussy willow branches sort of around the root ball to make it look like it's all kind of intermingled together. And you could go way more I don't know, formal, I guess, or tidy maybe, and do them all out the center. But that's really hard when you're working around a root ball. I didn't want to damage the root ball, so I stuck the branches in around it, which gave it a little bit more of a whimsical, wild look. And then I went in with the daffodils, which at first I didn't know if I wanted to use that bright of yellow, but I do think it adds a really nice pop. And this was the one that had the most open flowers. And then the others, there are 2 more in here, will continue to bloom. So they'll get, whoever gets this will get a long season out of those. And then went in with the mascari because they are so gorgeous. I actually brought these home for another project, but they had to go in here. That really pretty bluish purple is perfect. And then I went in with the lemon coral sedum, which is another bright pop in here, and just kind of a nice soft accent on the sides. And there are 3. So 1, 2, and then the other one is on the back side. And then I did one of the purple pansies in between each lemon coral sedum, along with a whole bunch of these little violas, which are in 6-packs. Makes it very easy to tuck them in because their root balls are so small at this point. Do you love it? So all in all, a really fun and pretty arrangement. I do think I'm going to fix this branch. See how that one's sticking out? I kind of want them all to be a little bit more to the inside of the pot. Let's see, this one is coming off of one that's multi-branched. I don't want anything that could possibly snag somebody who's walking by. Not that they're thorny or anything. In fact, they're soft, but I think that will bring more balance anyway. Yeah, that already looks better. I'm going to move it to this side. There. Now we've got a little bit more of a vase shape with the branches. Oh, so pretty. I know it's a little bit hard to distinguish with all of the activity going on around it, but I have been enjoying this so much. Seeing all of this beautiful color every time we walk in here, it's just a mood lifter, let me tell you. When you've got a crummy day outside, like yesterday specifically, it was way darker than it is today, and it was kind of raining, like spitting rain all day long. When you walk in here and you can smell that smell, you guys know what that smells like. It's just that earthy smell, and then the bright color, it just like instantly lifts you. And I'm hoping that this container does that for whoever ends up with it. Russell. Okay, we're gonna grab Babs here and get it watered in, and then we're gonna head out and prune roses. I always like to clean the sides of the pots off when I initially water them in as well. Any loose soil. Such a nerd. He has a big water dish right back there. Okay, let's head out. Okay, here's what we've got going on. You can see the 2 rose trees on either side of this pathway, and they got quite large last year. And look at this. I didn't do any pruning on them last spring, which, you know, I'd say maybe I should have, but they did great last year. I think I'm going to take them down probably by about half today. And I think the most important thing to note when you're pruning, especially something that you want it to be shaped in a certain way, is to note which direction the bud is facing. Like you can see this one right here. This bud is facing outward. So if you're to cut the branch right above that bud, the new branch will grow out this direction. And that's important when really cutting or pruning on any rose, because you really don't want a whole lot of activity going back toward the center and congesting the center area, because it impedes airflow and light, and it just makes the plant struggle a little bit. Here's a better close-up for you. You can see all of these buds along this nice fresh green branch right here. If I were to make my cut right here, the new branch, you can see which direction it's going to grow. It's going to go right back up into the plant, not necessarily straight into the middle, but it's not in a shape that I would want it to be in. But if I cut right above this branch, this one's going out this direction, which makes for a nice shape. So I'd come in, I don't worry about slanted cuts or anything like that. You just want to make sure you cut it above a bud that's facing in the right direction, just like that. And then we'll remove all the leaves and all of the spindly branches, anything that's broken, anything that might look a little sketch, like if they've got a lot of spots on them or, you know, things like that. We'll get rid of that. And it is best to prune on a day where it's not going to rain. It's not supposed to rain today. I just double checked the forecast and it just says overcast for today. So anyway, we'll hope for the best. But I'm thinking we're going to take it down by like this much. It's going to look a little severe, but they will be happier plants for it. Well, let's get it done. Look at that. It looks so much better. Took it down by about half, thinned it out, and I was pretty ruthless. However, I feel like I could still thin it a little bit, but we'll just leave it and see how it goes. I mean, for the most part, the branches all have room for growth, for light, for airflow. I mean, just take a look at the other one. Ooh, that we still need to trim back. It's like a night and day difference here. Loving it. Here's a look from that side. And these are a little bit closer to the size of the ones we're going to plant here in a little bit on the other side, which will be kind of nice to have them at slightly the same size. And you won't really see this pair and the other pair at the same time unless you're standing way back on either side. But it's always kind of nice when you've got a formal sort of balanced area to have those kind of key plants sort of match. All right, now we take after this one. There's rose number 2 looking great. Oh my goodness. It just lightened the load on those. I went ahead and retied the strings on some of these just to tighten them up. Last year I did not have them staked up. I just didn't realize how top heavy they were. And we had a gully washer rainstorm come through and it got the canopies so wet and heavy that they were touching the ground. And I thought for sure they had snapped off at the base. And for some reason they didn't. They were more resilient and more flexible than I thought. So I got out here and I got them staked up immediately, and we kept them that way. And it might be something we have to keep on there for a few years while they establish and get really like a really strong trunk and get rooted in really nicely. But honestly, I don't even really notice it once we have things planted around it. Last year we had Gara planted right here, but they just look so much better. We need to go grab the other two we're going to plant, and I think Aaron said he wanted to come out and help plant them, which is great. Shouldn't take us too long. There they go. Hey, they are going to go right here. So kind of flanking the walkway that leads us out. And then we've got two other rose trees in these pots right here, which are kind of a purpley color. But I think that will look really good to kind of have the same sort of balance over here. Even though the walkway is curved and it doesn't come out straight, I think it'll still be nice to have those here. So that's what we are going to do. I got to go unload all of our rose canes that we just put in the gator and then load up the new roses. Oh, they look so good. And there they are planted. They look so good. I'm so excited about this, you guys. Oh, it's going to be so pretty to have that mirrored yellow color on this end of the Hartley. And the color of these is just so pretty, the color of yellow that they are. It's not too warm of a yellow and it's not too light. It's just the perfect color. And it seems like they were constantly in color. There was very little time during last summer where they lulled out. And a lot of times rose bushes lull, especially when it gets really hot, like in mid-July. But there was always color, and they bloomed super late in the season as well. Not only that, but they add tremendous structure. I mean, you can see right here just when they're not even, barely breaking dormancy, what they look like. They just add that kind of lollipop shape right here that I so love. Now I'm excited to come along and plant something along this edge here and kind of soften this whole look, make things look a little bit more closed in. Oh, it's going to be fun. And it was nice to have the help digging the holes. I mean, they weren't massive holes and I didn't have to dig a lot of them, but that second one we went after, the soil was kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, but it smelled swampy and it was kind of gray and it was coming off in really big, weird looking chunks. I don't know. Okay. Now that we have our projects done, let's take a look at these trees being installed. All right, guys, it is the next day. So they ended up finishing the last tree installation when it was almost dark. So I thought I would wait till this morning, and this morning it was snowing, which none of it stuck, but it snowed for a little while. Looked like it was going to rain for a bit, but now the sun is out and the trees are glorious. What are your thoughts, Aaron?
Well, I do think it's glorious.
This is so pretty.
Look how big it is.
It is so big. So this is the first one they put in. And what we did, I think I already explained this, but Aaron went into the house and I stood out here to kind of try to figure out exactly where the tree should go so that in the end it would look like a trio with the two that were here. Now we had the big pine put in as well. Anyway, I'm just really happy with it.
This one is tipped a little bit.
It is tipped a bit.
We asked him to right it a little more.
Yeah, let me show you from this angle. From the house, it looks perfectly straight, but from this angle, it's like, well... This one was grown, and many of them, actually all three of these were grown on a hillside.
Yeah.
So they're kind of wonky anyway. Like if you look down at the trunk at the bottom, it might be leaning to the right a little. I was going to say it looks pretty straight. It's straighter than up here. And sometimes trees get kind of a lean. And, you know, if they're growing on a hillside, most definitely, if you're, you know, digging them straight down when they lean a certain way, it's going to be installed a little bit wonky. So that one will be tipped. We'll have that kind of righted. Hopefully today they will come and do that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're planning on coming today or not.
Okay, well, soon. Soon we'll get that fixed. But it's a beautiful, beautiful tree. We are just loving it. And the fact that we were able to save these. I mean, I can't even imagine these trees just going away.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, for someone who doesn't have a tree spade though,
right?
It's like if you're wanting to farm the field, there's nothing else you can do
Ure.
besides just, you know, chop them all down.
Right.
You probably get like a bulldozer or something like that.
Do it
and
real
just
fast.
push them over,
Right.
or I don't know what you'd do.
Oh, so sad. I'm so happy to give this one a second life. And then this trio right here is just so pretty. So if you remember, we had the blue spruce and the green spruce installed last fall, and then this one yesterday. And it's just so gorgeous. And it filled a huge gap right here. That we just wanted to have a nice green backdrop. So we've got Spring Grove arborvitae here, which look a little less perched now that the pine is here.
It's kind of funny how we planted them all in a line. I don't really know why we did that.
Well, I think we were strategically trying to hide, you know.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
I don't know, like why didn't we dot them? I don't know.
I like it.
It'll be fine, and we'll plant other stuff in front of it, so it
Right.
won't be so perched in the
Well,
end.
and we were noticing from, you know, when you stand more this way, there's a larger gap kind of back in here. So we'll probably tuck another arb, I'm guessing, or something else.
Juniper?
Like maybe down the hill just a tiny bit. And in between the blue spruce and pine. I don't really want to show a straight on because that would show a straight on of our neighbor's backyard. But about where Aaron is, or like if you stepped back a little bit. Yeah,
Like
like
here?
right in there.
Yeah.
And that way when you're looking at it from more standing like right in front of Aaron, it will be a little bit more thick.
So if you kind of show how muddy this is right here,
Uh-huh.
I guess that the, what do you call it? The spade, the truck, has like a 400-gallon water tank on it.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I brought our little water tank around because I was like, oh, we need to water these in. And then I noticed that there were like jets that were shooting kind of like in between and, you know, watering it. And I asked him, I was like, where's that water coming from? And there's like a reservoir right behind the cab. And so that's like really convenient that they just get it all watered in, and we won't need to mess with it probably for a while because it's still cool enough.
Right. Do you want to stand in front of this one? I wonder how tall this is. Aaron's 6'1".
How many errands can you?
At least 2, maybe 2.5 if I step back here.
It's more than 12 feet tall.
It's probably 15.
You think?
Yeah. It's
It
huge.
seems so much bigger than that.
I know this I feel like it's not doing it justice.
Because like, I don't know, looking at it, I would say it's gotta be at least 20, 18 to 20.
Maybe.
Hold on, let me look.
Okay, I'll go stand here. I'm 5'4" on a good day.
Yeah, that's gotta be at least 18 feet.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's big, either way. It's big. Okay, let's go look at the other spruce, which it's got a beautiful shape. I love it. All right, we are coming up on it. Look at how beautiful. This one's got a really nice shape. It's got a nice leader, and it's just got that layered. I love that kind of layered effect. Some of them don't have that. Like some of the blue spruces are real chunky, like,
Yeah.
you know, real kind of smooth on the sides. I love how this one's got some really good shape. Do you want to stand next to that one?
It's so wide too.
It is wide.
This one, I mean, that's exactly what we wanted too, is we just wanted to take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially in the wintertime,
Mm-hmm.
just being something to look at.
Right.
Because it's so bare otherwise.
So pretty.
I don't think the horses will be able to reach
No, I don't think so
and
either.
nibble on this one. That
No.
will be a concern one day.
You think
Not
so?
for this tree, but just for anything that we plant back here.
Yeah. We'll make sure that it's, you know, planted appropriately. And here is a view from the other side. Oh, it's just so pretty. I love it so much. And you guys, that is going to be it for this video. I had so much fun putting together that spring arrangement yesterday and then getting those roses planted, or pruned, existing ones pruned and the new ones planted. My parents came over for dinner last night and we were all in the golf cart driving around, and when we were looking at that area, it just made me so happy to see some more anchor plants in that area and just more stuff in that area. We've got a lot of space to fill over there, and we'll just work on it a couple plants at a time. And then of course the big trees, seeing those go in, it is such a huge, massive treat every single time I see one of those go in, and I enjoy them so, and Aaron and I both. All of us enjoy these big trees so much. And it's also nice to know that they, like I said, get to live a second life here, and hopefully they all take. We'll be very diligent with the watering, and we'll get our drip run here to them soon. In fact, we've already been planting things, like, you know, all the trees we put in already and a few shrubs, and I've been taking pictures of everything. Have you been taking pictures too?
No.
So I've been taking pictures of everything brand new that we put in the ground thus far this spring, and I've got them in a folder on my phone, and it's titled Needs Drip. So that once the water is turned back in and it's time to rerun drip or run drip to new plants, we'll know all the plants that I've already put in and where water needs to go so that we don't accidentally miss it, because that does happen sometimes. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.